Thursdays, we would rent the kitchen. Mom would get there in the morning. Dad would get there after work. All of us would get there after school. We would pack bottles till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Mom would have sold it during the week. Then on the weekends, starting Saturday at 8 a.m., we'd start chopping chicken in the house and filling these containers with chopped chicken, chanas, cans of garbanzos, and everyone would spread out. So Didi would drop me off to a store, she would go to a different store, Mom would go to a store, Dad would go to a store, we'd do our demos. Sometimes we do 2 demos in a day, so she'd pick me up and drop me to another store, and we'd do our demos, and that's how we, that's what it was, because it was a way to pay the rent. It wasn't again, it wasn't this business.
It wasn't
plan.
a choice.
It wasn't a choice. That was where the
So you
money
had
was
to do
coming
it.
from. That's what,
You had to do it.
yeah. So she basically went to the market. She's like, "Here's 10 Indian frozen entrees. We need to do one as well. Figure it out." And that was the first thing that I sort of took on. Was coming up with that line. And that's how we started it. And it was very, we started just like everything else that we had done up until that point. It was very humble in its way. We bought literally a hand crank machine
To seal
that
the trays.
sealed trays 2 at a time.
Got it.
And we decided that we were going to do it. We had 8
Wow. So it was all
SKUs.
manual in the beginning.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was totally
Everything.
all
Wow.
manual in the beginning. I hired someone from Craigslist to do the packaging. She came up with 8 designs for that first packaging, and we got the boxes printed in India actually for that first run. Airshipped over here because we didn't know we weren't doing any paper packaging at the time, just labels, so we didn't know anyone here, and yeah, so that's how we started the
food line.
frozen food.
I had gone for his Christmas party in his school and had taken a plate of tandoori chicken, and there was this gentleman who came by and said, "This is fantastic, who brought this?" And I said, "I did." And he said, "Oh, this is the most amazing chicken I've ever eaten." And he happened to be Frank with Morehouse mustards. And the moment I heard it, I said, "Oh," so I knew nothing about the industry, so I was always searching for answers.
Sure.
So I said, "Do you mind if I call you anytime for some of you?" He said, "Anytime." And I think he gave me the first few directives, which just helped me launch. I said, "How do you get into Safeway without paying space money?" Oh, he said, "There's this Safeway in the marina. You just go in, they can do their own buying. And once you walk in there and get accepted, then you get a vendor number, and you take that vendor number and go to all the other stores."
Interesting.
And that's exactly what I did then. Our product was, according to us, that label was wonderful. It was like yellow color label with green printing. But it looks very nice. But sitting on the shelf, it doesn't tell anybody anything. These are lessons we learned during this thing. But so then we just kept doing demos and demos and demos, which gave us a lot of guerrilla marketing. But it got us in front of people. And because we could not afford to pay the shelf space, we had to keep the product moving in the stores we got into. And after some time, we realized that the packaging was really not something which catches anybody's attention. And so we had to do this. That's the way we did it. But lessons learned again, packaging is very important. One day I was doing a demo in Whole Foods in Palo Alto, and this lady came by and she said, "I love your products, never go out of business." And by the time we were wondering, how long do we have to do these demos to make a living out of this?
Sure, yeah, it's a lot of work, right?
Because
Yeah.
all the kids, all our weekends were going in this. So I asked her, I said, "Do you mind if I ask you some questions?" She said, "No, go ahead." She said, so how many times do you cook with this? She said, "Well, we eat at home maybe 3 times a week. So definitely I cook with it once a month." So,
That's not enough for you as a business owner.
so this boy, I thought to myself, I said, this 8-ounce bottle of curry paste, which I'm very proudly saying will cook 3 pounds of food for you, it's going to last her what, 6 months? And how many bottles do I need to make
So
a living?
you need to go through them quickly
Yeah.
so that you are able to make money, right?
Money.
You
So
want
I
people
was-
to buy more.
Well, what was interesting actually of this whole thing was not only was it, from our perspective, it was Mom was saying, it's a great value, right? You have this $4 jar of curry paste will make you 4 to 5 pounds of curry. And so that's, 20 servings, and how wonderful of a value is it? From their perspective, they never looked at it that way. From their perspective, people were looking at it and saying, gosh, when am I going to make 5 pounds of product? How long is it going to take me? It's just going to sit in my pantry. I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to buy it. They would buy it right off the
So you
bat.
would wanna-
But yeah, so these are all learnings that you have along the way.
So then what size did you ultimately started selling?
So this is what we did, very reluctantly, we have this thing that you need to give value for money, right?
Sure.
So just give 1 serving. So then we went down to pouches, paste pouches, and they were we were giving 3.5 ounces. Till today we are doing the same, we're giving 3 ounces of paste.
Got it. So a single-use pouch that you can use for like a dish or like one-time dinner and then throw it.
Dump it. And then if you want to make more, you need to come back and buy more.
There you go.
And funnily, we were selling this pouch for the same amount of money that we were selling the bottles for.
Oh.
So
So it was a better business decision for you guys
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
listening to your consumer was important.
very
for them.
important.
Yeah,
Checking out some lunch for myself, and this lady was checking out her groceries. And I saw in her groceries, she had this 1 bottle of curry paste, 1 tandoori, and she had about 5 frozen meals. So I said, Sukhi Singh, you're barking up the wrong tree. This frozen meals is going to come back next week and buy more.
Because they're going to consume it and they would want more.
So we needed to shift gears and get into the frozen food or fresh food, which people would finish.
How did Costco happen for you?
Anyway, so he said, I want to take your samosas and
Did
naans
he
to
know about you guys before he came there, or he just sort of
No,
discovered
he
you?
was just
Discovered
walking the farmer's market.
Yeah.
So he said, I want to take the samosas and the naans to the Costco. So very excited we got, and Sanjog was here now. Her friend was there. She was just laid off, and I said, I can't do this alone. I mean, now I have to, it's a big project to get all these numbers together and figure out what you're going to sell it to Costco and all for. So I hired my first employee, first employee of that grade.
Yeah, except your children.
They were all unpaid.
All of them.
Yeah, not counting that.
So anyway, so we worked a lot with this broker, and it went quite ahead, and then suddenly that broker was fired.
Oh, must have been disappointing.
So what was I going to do? I said, oh my gosh, now what do we do? Now I had got into this expense of hiring this girl.
Sure.
It was a $5,000 a month salary to
Wow.
give, and no business to support it, So then we went around and said, okay, so let's do fresh Indian food to the stores. And within a month, Ketki had helped me, and we set up this route in the stores with prepared Indian food. But in the meantime, Costco came back to us and said, we want this. So we started supplying them with naans and made in the tandoor. Again, a big lesson that we learned.